Hello, everyone. We are continuing where we left off. This is part 2 of chapter 5 of the Shepherd of the Flock of God Elders Handbook. Below are examples in which judicial action would likely not be warranted. An elderly Christian living alone has a member of the opposite sex move into the home to help care for him. There is no evidence of a romantic attachment or reason to suspect sexual immorality. After attending a social gathering at a single sister's home, a brother walks to a train station to catch the train home. After waiting for some time, the brother learns that the last train for the day has already left the station. He walks back to the sister's home, but by the time he arrives, everyone has left and it is quite late. The sister allows him to sleep in the living room while she sleeps in her bedroom. A single brother visits a married couple for several days. One night after everyone goes to bed, the husband is called to an emergency at his place of work and does not return until morning. The wife and the single brother uh, the wife and the single brother are alone in the home all night, sleeping in separate bedrooms. Number 12, the elders cannot apply one rule to every case. Each situation has unique circumstances. After two elders have thoroughly investigated, the body of elders should use good judgment in determining whether serious wrongdoing has occurred. If elders are unsure how to proceed, they should consult with the branch office. Number 13, gross uncleanness, uncleanness with greediness. Galatians, the 5th chapter, verse 19 through 21, lists many vices that are not classed as porneia, but that could lead to one's being disqualified from God's kingdom. Among them are uncleanness, Greek akatharsia. When one practices uncleanness to a gross or serious degree, it can be grounds for disfellowshipping from the Christian congregation. Elders should use good judgment in discerning whether the conduct is minor uncleanness that can be handled by counsel or is gross uncleanness that requires the formation of a judicial committee. Number 14, though this is not an exhaustive list, gross uncleanness may be involved in the following: passion arousing heavy petting or caressing of breasts on numerous occasions between individuals not married to each other. If such conduct occurred on a few isolated occasions, especially between two persons involved in a courtship with the intent to marry, counsel from two elders may suffice to handle such minor uncleanness. The elders should inform the coordinator of the situation. However, if the conduct occurred on numerous occasions and the actions escalated in gravity and frequency, it may constitute gross uncleanness with greediness, requiring judicial action. Their wrongdoing may constitute brazen conduct if they give evidence of a disrespectful, insolent attitude towards God's laws. For example, the individuals may have no honorable mentions of pursuing marriage. Next note is a practice of engaging in immoral conversations by telephone and internet chat rooms or through similar electronic means can involve obscene speech or gross uncleanness, either of which can be a basis for judicial action. If such conduct occurred on a few isolated occasions, judicial action may not be necessary. Counsel from two elders is sufficient to handle such minor uncleanness. The elders should inform the coordinator of the situation. However, such conduct may escalate in gravity and by frequent repetition become gross uncleanness with greediness requiring judicial action, especially if the individual had been previously counseled. And next, an entrenched practice of viewing, perhaps over a considerable period of time, abhorrent forms of pornography that is sexually degrading. Such pornography may include homosexuality, sex between those of the same gender, group sex, bestiality, sadistic torture, bondage, gang rape, the brutalizing of women, or child pornography. Brazen conduct would be involved if the offender was promoting such material, such as by inviting others to view it. thus giving evidence of a brazen attitude. Next, misuse of tobacco. Elders should use good judgment in weighing the circumstances and extent of the wrongdoing so as to determine whether a judicial committee should be formed. For example, an elder or two may handle matters by means of counsel if a Christian smoked a few cigarettes in private. The coordinator of the body of elders should be informed. However, a judicial committee is required for a practice of using tobacco. When the questions arise, consult with the branch office. Next note, extreme physical uncleanness. Every effort should be made to help the offender see the need to keep his body and place of residence physically clean. Before disfellowshipping would be considered, elders would need to be certain that the uncleanness is pronounced inoffensive, bringing much reproach upon Jehovah's good name and his people in the community. Appropriate counsel should be given. If this is not heeded, then marking may be necessary. If there is blatant, willful disregard of the counsel given and extremely offensive, unclean conditions continue, disfellowshipping action may be necessary. Number 15, misuse of addictive drugs. Please note, the use of addictive drugs under medical supervision, such as for pain management, would not necessarily require judicial review. When questions arise, consult with the branch office. Number 16, apostasy. Apostasy is a standing away from true worship, a falling away, defection, rebellion, abandonment. It includes the following: celebrating false religious holidays. Not all holidays directly involve false religion and require judicial action. Something to think about. Such as Memorial Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. You might not get judicial action for celebrating those, but if you want to celebrate Christmas or Easter, then you may, then judicial action is required. Interesting. See, they don't tell you this. Next note is participation in interfaith activities. Apostate acts include bowing before altars and images and sharing in false religious songs and prayers. Next note, deliberately spreading teachings contrary to Bible truth as taught by Jehovah's Witnesses, not anyone else. Any with sincere doubts should be helped. Firm, loving counsel should be given. If one obstinately is speaking about or deliberately spreading false teachings, this may be or may lead to apostasy. If there is no response after a first and second admonition, a judicial committee should be formed. Next, causing divisions and promoting sects. This would be deliberate action disrupting the unity of the congregation or undermining the confidence of the brothers in Jehovah's arrangement. It may involve or lead to apostasy. Next, continuing in employment that makes one an accomplice to or a promoter of false worship would subject one to disfellowshipping after being allowed a reasonable amount of time, perhaps up to 6 months, to make the needed adjustments. So they're going to give you 6 months for you to change your job. So if you are an escort or, a stripper, or you work at a casino or a tobacco company, you got 6 months to change your job. Next is the practice of Spiritism, and finally, idolatry. Idolatry includes the use of images, including pictures, and false religious worship. All right, stay tuned for part 3 of chapter 5 of the Shepherd of the Flock of God book.